Everyone, it's Jamie here. I'm a nonconformist and badass energy bitch, which is my way of saying I'm an empath that is here to help other amazing, wildly untraditional women ignite your audacious dreams. I'm a mindset coach and an energy healer. Today, I want to talk to you guys more about emotions, energy healing, and the perception around being in pain, suffering, hurting, and the, in my opinion, falsely labeled, misleading, disempowering idea that being in pain is low vibe. And I want to share with you guys why I actually feel that it's effective healing. It's just really a matter of how you leverage and experience the pain that's most important. One of the things that I find to be really irritating is, there's a lot of like low vibe and high vibe and, like what's your vibrational setting, and there's like this hierarchy of like, being in high vibe is being joyful and being in love and being happy. And then it says like shame and guilt and being sad is like a low vibe. And I just don't resonate with that, because when it comes to healing, that comes from a very spiritual place. When it comes to, those aspects, then honestly, like, things aren't linear in that space. Things are linear in the human world, and we're spiritual beings here to have a human experience. So that duality and those like linear concepts are part of the human construct, and I understand that, and I'm not here to fully dismantle it. I definitely see some faults in it, but I also feel that, in a lot of ways, or in some ways, people do need it, and that's still part of your journey, and there is a value and benefit to it. But where I feel that there's a lot of damage is when people are like, oh, like when you're in pain, when you're sad, it's negative. Because then what ends up happening is you end up fucking censoring yourself, and you're like upset, but you're like, but no, this isn't good. And it's like, you're not going to grow and heal and be in the place that you want to be when you're rejecting aspects of yourself, when you are suppressing and like compartmentalizing how you're feeling and what you're going through. How can you expect to move forward in your life if you are denying where you're at? That's how resistance shows up. And I have to tell you, that's one of the reasons why I've had a bit of a struggle as a healer. Is I think there's this idea of people are like, heal me, heal me, heal me, and they're like, oh, I need to get rid of this. And it's like, or maybe what you need to do is actually to integrate with it and to let it wash over you, to have these experiences. And that's actually what's going to accelerate and dissolve the pain. Because what ends up happening is I feel like people try to censor themselves and say that it's bad, and they try to release it. And I've seen this happen so many times. I call this like a boomerang emotional experience, where it's like, people are so busy trying to release the pain, trying to suppress it, trying to be like, no, I don't want to be in pain. Oh, this is bad, whatever. And, you genuinely release it, but then it comes back and boomerangs into your life, or it shows up in a different way, because you're meant to experience the lessons and the wisdoms that come from that pain showing up in your life. And I'm going to share with you a personal experience that I recently had as a way to kind of explain it. So there's this guy that I'm interested in, right? And I have just been sitting on admitting to him. And then he was kind of talking to this girl, but like, I don't know, like, I think they were like on a break. And then like, I guess he was like, so she called me. And I didn't know what was going on at that time. He didn't know either. But I ended up feeling really sad after I got off the phone with him, because I was like, man, like a couple days ago, we had such a great conversation. I felt like he was kind of opening up, sort of like to kind of like talk about our feelings, and I didn't choose to approach it because I really wanted to enjoy the conversation. I didn't want to be in a vulnerable space. And then as a result of that, I started to kind of get filled with regret and sadness, and then I was in like a lot of pain, and I realized this pain had nothing to do with him. It was actually old wounds that it was triggering. And when I started to realize that, I was like, you know what? I'm actually really grateful that I'm experiencing this pain, because it allowed me to sink into the root of where that pain was coming from. And so I want you to think of it like that, like pain is healing medicine. It's like turning poison into venom. Or no, wait. Is that the way you say it? I don't remember, but it's basically you turn this poison into healing medicine. And so like, when you're experiencing pain, I feel like you go to the source of that pain. And so when you're in that source of that pain and you let yourself open up to it, you have clearer access to where that pain is, it's not as ambivalent because you see it. You're like, oh my God, this reminds me of when I was a child. This actually, the first time I had this memory was this conversation I had with my mom or my dad, or I remember when this happened and I felt really shitty about this situation. It's like, it is an efficient way to really heal that, because when you go to the source, you get so many insights. Whereas when you are just kind of trying to navigate and you don't really know where that pain is, you're kind of like getting lost, you know, and you're trying to like find your way through this maze. Whereas pain, it is literally like all the lights turn on, the GPS is on, and as long as you're open, I mean, you can accelerate that healing and that insight and that growth. It is actually really phenomenal. And I realized that to me, the pain was like medicine. Where like, imagine if I had pain, like an injury on my knee, right? But I didn't know that I had this injury on my knee. But then I was talking to someone who was like, oh, I really want to take this yoga class. And then all of a sudden, I start remembering, oh my God, like, you know, the idea of doing yoga really scares me because, oh yeah, I have this knee injury that I forgot about, right? So much in the same, and so it's like, imagine like this liquid medicine, right? And you can use this liquid medicine and apply it specifically on your knee to heal yourself right away. I can put this healing medicine on my head, and the liquid drips down my body, and then eventually hits my knee and then heals it, right? That's still a form of healing, but that's not as efficient, you know, like the liquid might evaporate, it might get absorbed in other areas, I might wipe it off, or, you know, there's other things that can kind of get in the way. But when you are in pain, that to me is like the analogy that I'm trying to convey is that the pain is actually bringing me straight to my knee, so I know to put the medicine right on my knee rather than trying to do some guesswork and just kind of putting the healing medicine wherever I can, hoping that it's somehow going to heal my body. And so I just really want you guys to be open to the possibility that if you're in pain, it's because you're meant to experience it. And this isn't an excuse to wallow in it, but to just open yourself up to it and trust and know that you are meant to feel. You are a feeling person and you experience these things because there's value and benefit in it, and that you're strong enough to get through this and to let the pain teach you, let it cleanse you, let it purge you, really connect with what wisdom is trying to communicate with you. Because that is a tremendously wonderful way to accelerate the pain rather than resisting it and saying, oh, being in pain, being sad, this is a bad thing and I don't want to deal with it. And, you know, like I need to be happy and I need to be this and I need to be that, because that's denial, that's rejection, and that's not unconditional love. And it's so important for you to be accepting and loving and deserving with yourself, which isn't to say, you know, have shitty standards, but to being open is just such a vital part of life. Okay, let me know how this resonates with you. I think that it's such an important thing. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to leave you with is, you know, this is where I feel like I mind fuck a lot of my clients by letting them know this, because we live in a world that's like, you have to be happy, you have to be positive vibes, you have to be this, you have to be that. We forget that being happy on an extreme, that's a chemical imbalance too. That's mania. So we have to stop labeling things as good and bad, because that in your life, and look for what that value. That is a good way. You're not necessarily experiencing pain just so that you can continue to be in a shitty mood, perpetuate that like sort of negativity, but really to find the value in it, integrate with it, learn it, understand it, love it fully, let it dissolve, let it walk by, to really reconnect with who you are. And that is the message that I want to leave with you guys today. If you guys have any comments about any of this, please leave them below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!